Nassau on New Providence Island, capital of the independent state of the Bahamas. It's long been a favorite for millions of Americans for vacations, gambling and diving. Many come for the fishing too, in an azure blue sea that's found almost nowhere else in the world. But for the last 20 or so years, Nassau has been connected to the southeast coast of America by the most unlikely connection. In fact, the story started almost 40 years ago when a group of men with fast offshore-going boats decided to set a race across to the Bahamas from Miami. The first Miami-Nassau race took place back in 1956. The winner then was the legendary Sam Griffith. In 1986, the race was transformed to the Miami-Nassau-Miami. In 1988, it was won with a record-setting average speed by Fabio Buzzi in Gancha de Gancha. But Buzzi's record fell the following year to the great Tom Gentry from Hawaii. And it would be another 10 years before that record would be broken by Harry Allen Jr. Allen covered the 362.2 miles in 4 hours, 32 minutes and 12 seconds. He maintained an average speed of 80 miles an hour, extremely high over such a long distance at sea. This then is the challenge that the great Italian designer Fabio Buzzi can't resist. He's always said that that record back in 1988 was the greatest of his racing career, when all the other competitors withdrew from the race and he raced on alone against the sea. To beat it again will be sheer pleasure. And so for this attempt, Buzzi prepares an unbelievable boat, capable of speeds in excess of 130 miles per hour or 210 kph. Using 4 engines that he designed himself, the boat is still capable of achieving 100 miles an hour on just 3 engines alone. And it's the racing prototype for the new super-fast patrol boat for the Italian Customs Police in their hunt for the smugglers of the next millennium. Transmission in Buzzi's new race boat is by ZF of Germany. It's a 2-speed system. The Grand Trimax is a monohull in design and has a special cockpit for racing conditions. Techno seats are fitted, which are capable of withstanding up to 10 G of vertical acceleration. And so the boat arrives in America having already won the Naples-Monte Carlo endurance race. And so the boat arrives here in America, just in time to attempt the new Miami-Nassau-Miami record. It's to be driven by the many times champion Daniel Scioli, now a member of the Argentine government. Italian Gianfranco Zanoni will be the engineer. Making up the team, American Mark Nemtoff, co-driver and former world offshore champion. Against instinct, the boat is launched on Friday the 13th. And unsurprisingly, the next few days are spent sweating over a variety of technical problems. The heart of the difficulties seem to be with the turbines of the 4 engines. Then comes the nerve-wracking wait for the right weather conditions. And this forces Scioli to abandon the team due to government commitments. He's replaced by the American chief mechanic Mark de Jong. But all of this delay gives the team time to study the route. There are many options going between the islands that form the archipelago of Bimini. They decide to go via Cat Key, passing across the Gulf Stream in a southeasterly direction, the same route as they took back in 1988. They arrive at the Flats, a span of sea with just 2 to 3 meters of depth, almost always calm and therefore very fast. Almost 70 miles long, they end up at North Channel Light, where the tongue of the ocean begins. Here it's very deep, up to 3,000 meters. From this point they head for Nassau, round the first harbour buoy and then double back to Miami. At long last, the weather bulletins all concur. After a week of waiting, at 7 o'clock in the morning when the sea is at its calmest, the team head out. They leave the dock at the Marriott Marina and out to sea through the government cut. The team head for the entry of the port of Miami and up as far as the last channel marker. Here the boat is joined by an aircraft carrying the commissioner and timekeeper of the APBA, the American Powerboat Association, and and they will be responsible for verifying the record. Initial conditions look good, and the sea sufficiently calm that the boat can top 100 miles an hour despite carrying 4,000 litres of diesel fuel on board. Cat Key appears in a little over half an hour, and the flats live up to their name. Flat they are, and the speed climbs to a little over 107 miles per hour. Woodsy knows it's wise to build as much of a cushion as possible. Conditions at the tongue of the sea can be unpredictable. But when the team arrive at the Northwest Channel Light, there's a big surprise. Sea conditions are still calm. The only problems that they have are from wake caused by the big ocean liners. They make Nassau with an average speed of over 100 miles an hour and turn back for Miami. Well on their way back towards Cat Key, disaster suddenly strikes the team of Grand Trimax. The boat slows and then stops. The boost pressure on engine number 4 has dropped to 0. The team quickly realise on board that the turbine on engine number 4 has blown again. They decide to strike out again with just 3 engines. It's tough luck, but the boat was designed to run in exactly this configuration. They forge ahead for another 95 miles. Finally, Cat Key. It's just another 60 miles, and then the skyscrapers of Miami will begin to appear. The crippled Trimax is taking the punishment well, and the record is still within their grasp. It's an exciting moment for the crew. They pass the entry marker to the harbour 3 hours, 43 minutes and 31 seconds since they left. This means a remarkable average of 96 miles an hour, the fastest ever in a long-distance racing event. The previous record is shattered by over half an hour. It's a significant amount, but it won't be long before someone challenges this famous race yet again. Down on the quayside, Fabio Buzzi celebrates breaking an all-American record in true Italian style with a spray of champagne.